So here we go. This is the actual building site for the pump house, and you'll look in here, you'll see the pump. So I'm building this little building around that, and this orange line here marks the interior of the building. So it's pretty small, as you can see, but it's all that we need for this particular function, and it'll help me get the building up quicker because I'm working by myself out here. And I'll probably be working through the winter, which I'm thinking is going to be an advantage over cob, because you can't do cob during the winter. But I think, I'm not positive, but I think you can do the rammed earth in cold temperatures. So I'll be figuring that out. I might learn the hard way that it's not possible, but pretty confident you can. So anyway, the first thing I did here is I laid out these rebar stakes, and I put these caps on them. I always like to put the caps on because they are kind of a hazard to just have sticking in the ground. People can impale themselves on these if they fall on them. So I buy these caps. You can get these at any hardware store. They're kind of expensive though. They're like $4 each. They actually have a piece of metal inside here, so it's not just plastic. But anyway, I put out these rebars to get the general outline, and then I do a Pythagorean theorem calculation, which you can look up, and I've got videos on that in the online course, how to do that if you're really interested. But it's pretty simple. You've got your side A, side B, and then the hypotenuse, side C, from that corner to that corner, and you just measure off to get the correct numbers. So one side might be, just for example, 3 feet. That side might be 4 feet, and then the hypotenuse would be 5 feet. So you know you can place your stakes according to those measurements. It might not make sense with that explanation, but do a Google search, you'll figure it out pretty easy. And so next thing I did was I set up these batter boards, and these are basically just boards to hold the string lines. So I put out the string lines exactly according to the exterior outline of the building. Then I measured 2 feet in to get the next one, because the actual footer on this foundation is going to be 2 feet wide, and that's what I'm digging for right now, is the footer. And then, just to make sure, I spray painted the outline with this orange spray paint, and that transferred it onto the ground so that then I can start actually digging within that outline. So that's what I'm doing today, is I'm just starting to dig down. And you always want to dig down below the frost line for the bottom of your foundation, because you don't want to have any heaving when if the water is above the frost line, drained into the ground above the frost line, it can freeze and cause shifting in your foundation. So you want to be able to, you want your foundation to be below that frost line so that any water drainage underneath your foundation is not going to freeze, basically. So I've got to dig through all this dirt, probably 2 feet down, which is a lot of work because the soil here is pretty tough. There's a lot of rocks, and there might be some roots from this tree here. But that's the gist of it. And I'll keep you guys updated on how this project goes. Alright, let's take another look at this rammed earth block. It's been out here for not quite a week, but it's got a lot of sun on it so far. It's dried out pretty nice, and it's also had a chance to get some rain on it. So curious to see how it's turning out. So the coloration has changed quite a bit from when I first took the forms off. It's a lot lighter color since it's dried out, and it's really hard, and this is super solid. And looks like somebody made some scratches in it, which not really a huge scratch. It's pretty tough. I think somebody put some scissors to the side here. That's where this came from. But same thing would happen with cob, for sure. I know that. And next time I make this block, I'm going to put a small percentage of cement in there, so it'll be even stronger. Not that I really love putting cement in there, but I want to see what happens, and it's definitely going to help a rammed earth building get through codes if you got some cement in there.